Hello, GovCon winners, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about ego. This one can be very tough. I have found that it's ego that often prevents a person from elevating. So there was a time when I had a team member and I found out that they definitely were living in a place of ego. They did not disclose key information that they should have to me about a client. They really weren't doing their job. They had convinced me to bring on all these people to the team, and basically they were all doing their job. And at that time, I was so insecure. I was so caught up in my ego, and I just blindly trusted this person. I didn't have any kind of checks and balances. I just trusted them. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? When you're running at that time, $1 million, $2 million business, you're to bring on people and to trust them, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do to grow? That is where trust but verify comes in. But it took me a little time to get to that, y'all. It took me some time. So all of this stuff surfaces around this team member. Clients are dissatisfied. Those reporting to this person were beyond dissatisfied. And there was this toxic environment that this person had created. At the same time, they offered so much value. And I had seen this loving light side of them, like this bright light that I thought was a bright light. And I was just distraught. I felt so bamboozled, so blindsided, right? I was just like, how is this happening? And at that time, I had a mentor who was an executive with Pepsi, and he was trying to help me through it. And he's listening, and he's listening, he's listening. And he finally said, Kizzy, is she coachable? I had to really ponder that. I knew in my gut, no, I knew in my gut, but my head and my heart, they didn't want to accept it because I was so caught up in this ego, so caught up. I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to lose someone who I thought was maybe a friend, but I knew that the ship was burning. And if I didn't start to make changes, it would never, ever work out. So what I took from that is there are these times when we're not only caught up in our own ego, there may be others who are too. I would argue that that team member was. This is not a battle of the egos or to go on and pontificate about the ego. It's about your action, the next step. You have the information, maybe there are red flags. Now what? So in that situation, I had a talk with the person and it reaffirmed what I knew to be true. The person wasn't coachable and they were ultimately let go. And there was so much damage from what I had allowed to occur. I was responsible. I did not have any systems in place to make sure that it didn't happen. So what's vital and what ended up changing from this is, one, I really dug deep into how I wanted key areas to work, HR, finance, as well as I made myself available. I had check-in calls weekly, monthly with the team. I started to create different ways to hold people accountable. And one of them ended up being a quality review, which my flagship company uses today. It's on a Google sheet. It lists the different key areas. Team members are evaluated monthly or quarterly, depending, and all decisions pertaining to them is centered around their scores on that quality review. The other thing is I took that emotion piece out of it, which I'm not saying it was easy. And I'm still not saying it, it's easy today, but it's way easier. And here's what I mean. I looked at this person in awe. I put him on a pedestal because I was so caught up in my ego and I was so insecure that I didn't see anything, right? I was like, oh, they're so great. Meanwhile, it's going on. And so I started to focus on what I could see. I started to focus on the work. I started to focus on the different areas in the quality review. I started to focus on those, not the personality, right? Not did they text me happy birthday or hello. Like I focus on the actual input and outputs. That's where the focus started to go. And it changed everything. It was amazing, the domino effect of not only removing that person, but making these changes, having the different ways in place, having the quality review, looking at everyone in terms of inputs, outputs, also really digging deep into root cause analysis. If some type of issue popped up, what was the root cause of that? With the situation I described, it was me. So I spent a lot of time and resources on gaining self-confidence, loving myself, all of these amazing things, understanding what it really meant to be a CEO, an entrepreneur, all of these things. And so I promise you, for those of you who are watching, these situations can be very tough, where there's someone on your team, or maybe it's a teaming partner, maybe you're in construction and it's the person who does all the flooring for you. You may adore them, but they're not coachable, meaning they don't want to get on the bus according to how you're operating the bus. And we teach people how to treat us. And if you just are like, whatever, it's going to lead to some tricky situations. And with that person I described, it led to several contracts being terminated. And so I know that by doing some of these tough things, you're not going to have to go through it. I'll also add, on the front end is super important, meaning when you are looking to attract talent, the attraction piece, the recruiting piece, and the selection piece, you want to make sure all of those reflect your culture, reflect what you're expecting out of the person, that it reflects how you and want them to operate with you. And I know it can be hard for some of you. Maybe you don't know what you want. I didn't know what I wanted. I had no idea, but I know it wasn't that. I knew it wasn't that, but it was, right? So it's key, because you'll start to see the flags. Once I was hiring for a bookkeeper. So after going through all of this, right? I was hiring for a bookkeeper, and I remember this woman. Well, I have 20 years of experience. So I can just take over and do things how I know how to do them. What? No, then out. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted certain things in a bookkeeper. And most importantly, it's someone who is a partner, not someone who's just data entry, not a know-it-all, not somebody who's not coachable, but someone who's a partner, who's resourceful, who is a binder clip and not a paper clip. That's what I was looking for. So I knew, move on, keep looking. Because when you ignore those flags, the flag just gets bigger. And who knows where that would have led to? Who knows? So that ego is strong. It's strong. But you're stronger, my GovCon winners. You are stronger. So please subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification button, comment below, check out profitablecontracts.co if you haven't already. And don't forget, everything is possible.